in America and you have not come to Ghana and you want to connect with your roots, I suggest this trip. You don't want to ever miss it, ever again. If you have the opportunity to do this, see Ghana, it's home. It literally feels, when you get here, they say welcome home, and you feel it immediately.
I had an amazing time. This is a trip that I would never, ever forget.
I feel like a queen. I feel like royalty. I feel like I belong in Ghana. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
I chose the colors red and blue because of my Haitian background, and being in this outfit just makes me feel at home and makes me feel a sense of comfort.
I feel reborn. I feel connected to my roots. I feel royal. I feel like a queen. I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and this is not about color. It's not about creed. This is the genesis. This is where we believe all of humanity began, right on this continent. And when your feet touch this soil, some way, somehow, it says hi to you, and you get to say hello back. We love it here.
Everything was wonderful, and I absolutely can't wait to return.
And hopefully when we return, you'll be with us.
Thank you for everything.
It's always beautiful welcoming our African Americans cousin, okay? So whenever they land, from the day one, you see all of them smiling. And the reason behind them smiling is the fact that when they look their left and right, they see people that looks like them. You don't know the feelings.
A lot of African Americans are becoming global travelers, which is extremely exciting because, because African Americans are traveling around the world, it's exposing these African Americans who are traveling around the world to have connections with other people around the world, especially people of African descendants around the world. In this case, continental Africans, for those of them who are traveling to the continent of Africa.
I had an amazing time. This is a trip that I would never, ever forget. The river that we went to, seeing the last bath, seeing the first bath of the return, seeing the dungeons, all the food that we ate, the fufu in particular, the restaurants that we visit, the tour personnel, everything was wonderful, and I absolutely can't wait to return. Thank you for everything.
I feel reborn. I feel connected to my roots. I feel royal. I feel like a queen. I love it. It's beautiful. For the culture.
I feel like a queen. I feel like royalty. I feel like I belong in Ghana. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
For the culture.
I chose the colors red and blue because of my Haitian background, and being in this outfit just makes me feel at home and makes me feel a sense of comfort.
And it's for the culture.
So it's very exciting time. Sometimes they say it takes economic hardship, political dispensation in certain countries, in this case in United States, which of course I'm an American, of African origin. It's forced African Americans now to start looking at other options. Very good thing. Very good thing in the sense that in as much as African Americans were not connecting with the rest of the world, European Americans were doing it. European Americans have always traveled because it's in their DNA for Europeans to travel. There's nothing in Europe where Europeans actually came from. So for Europeans to actually survive, they had to get out of Europe and travel around the world. There were a lot of them that would travel around the world with mischief, committing mischiefs, like transatlantic slavery, like colonialism, like, cultural appropriation, like stealing people's land.
Man, even to, the first bath and the last bath, and now when I walk in, y'all can actually feel the presence of heaviness. Being spiritual as I am, I can feel like hundreds of thousands of just ancestors around me and feeling that feeling, and then walking into each one of these rooms, and you only can imagine that you couldn't see even the people, that were in those rooms. I can just feel the presence around. Very, very remarkable to see, and to see how many people come in and actually visit. Definitely want to bring my family, my young ones out here to go take a look and actually tour this place, because it goes to tell them really how blessed and truly blessed they are, and also gives a story of how strong they are as well.
I feel like I'm very privileged and able to be here. Not a lot of people are able to come to Africa and come here and experience this. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I ain't gonna say once, but not a lot of people get to experience this and know the truth about it. Kind of nervous and scared, but as I got in there, I feel like I could really connect a little bit and really see what people actually went through.
Has changed something about me. Being an African American, we don't always know where we're from here in Africa.
But coming back here, the people of Ghana, their reception of us, their acceptance of us, the way they welcome us, they have a word, it is Akwaba. They welcome us from the time we leave the airport until we walk around in Accra where we're visiting. And so I feel a part of the community. I feel welcome here. I feel like I'm coming back home to family.
My call out to anybody looking to come is to ask questions, get curious, and again, you don't know what you don't know, and ignorance is bliss. So as soon as you do get the opportunity, I didn't know I was going to get this opportunity, so I'm really, really grateful to be here, and I would say you need to come and make this trip.
If you have not gotten the opportunity to come to Africa, you need to put it on your list of things to do as soon as possible. Not just you by yourself, you and your entire family. It's an experience that you don't want to miss.
You're all welcome to Ascend Mansoon, Ancestral Fiat, and then the slave market. My name is Kofi Atta. Kofi because I'm a male born on Friday. Based on the day you are born, that is how we name our children from here. This community where we are now used to be a slave market. All the way from parts of the community, through the sections here, through the forest, all the way till we get to the river, all used to be part of the slave market, where our enslaved African ancestors, brought from places such as Chad, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, through northern Ghana, through the Middle Belt, they were made to walk barefooted like I'm doing from here. All the way from those places till they were brought to the market here. When they were brought here, there were no buildings around. The whole of this place were forests. When they brought them in, they chained them to the trees and the bamboos to wait for the arrival of the Europeans. The Europeans were coming from Cape Coast Castle, Elmina Castle, and Fort Amsterdam. They come in here not with money. They come with European goods such as gun, gunpowder, sugar, mirror, beads, gin. Those were the items they brought to the market. And they exchanged these commodities with the raiders who brought the captives here. And the raiders who give the captives to them. They continue the journey from here all the way till they get to the markets. The castles were slave markets as well. They get the rice classes they are sold from here, resold over there and taken to the New World to resell them.
To this tour, it means the world to me because I get a chance to see exactly what my ancestors went through for me to be able to even exist. So I'm proud to be have my roots here. I'm excited for the opportunity to learn more and get more knowledge on this journey, and I'm just honored to be here. It's a privilege.
I would have to say that this experience, you can feel the ancestors here with us, imagining how they felt walking on this same ground, not knowing where they were going. This is a dream come true to be here. It's a generational dream. My mother wanted to make these steps, but she never made it. So I'm here for her, and hopefully my daughter can make these same steps and connect.
Moment of reflection to kind of consider more deeply where I might have come from. I had a conversation earlier this week where somebody asked me where I came from, and I said I was from Texas or from Houston. And they was like, no, you live in Texas, you live in Houston, but you're from Africa. So seeing this and putting my hands and my feet to it makes me consider that even more, to think back to where I've actually come from.
At the beginning of the bath, we were able to hold the chains and the ball on which they were bound with as they walked the last bath. And feeling the weight of that was symbolic of what they must have felt, even as they walked this journey. It's heavy, it's weighty, and I could feel that. I think if this river could speak, I would hear cries this time, not of pain, but of joy that I have returned home. I believe it would be a celebration that that we are finally back home.
When I walked into the river and I looked around, my mom always reminds me that home is Africa. And I felt like it has been time for me to come here, not just for myself, but for my mom. And so it was such a beautiful homecoming, I would say, and I can say that for the rest of the group, that they felt like, okay, this is home. Another download that God gave me was to look at, the chains that the slaves were in, but that as, in the 21st century, we have invisible chains. So while we walk in freedom physically, a lot of us walking into this water, the connection was that we get to be released from those chains and walk out clean.
So the story doesn't end from here. The slaves were taken from here all the way to Cape Coast, Elmina. So we are going to Cape Coast Castle and then Elmina Castle to get a full picture of the activities that happened during the transatlantic slave.
I remember what it was like being a Black girl in America, trying to figure out who I was and where I fit in. And so I feel very blessed to be able to lay the groundwork for my daughter to identify who she is, in hopes that this will be the stepping stones and the grounds to which she decides who she will become and how she will view the world.
It actually came on the trip because it was offered through my church. And so I really felt an impression on my spirit to get here. And on this day, I have a better understanding why. Taking that walk, I had so much gratitude for my ancestors. But because they were the resilience, they had the fortitude that they brought forth in very difficult, hard times, made it possible for me to be. So the fact that I am here today is my thank you for their endurance. I've always known that I've stood on the shoulders of my ancestors, and today I really feel what their shoulders felt like.
The question was asked, why Ghana? Why here? Well, I don't know if I chose Ghana or if Ghana chose me. My wife and I came here and absolutely fell in love with this part of the world. And this is probably for me, oh my God, I'm gonna guess 10 times. How many times have you been here?
This is my third.
Third time. Yeah. And so we decided last year when we left, you know what, this will be a great experience to have other people come, because every time we go back,
We talk about it so much.
Every
and
time.
It's hard to explain to anybody, like the experience of coming to Ghana. So it was like, we keep telling everybody, like, you missed this and this happens and that happens. So why not say, come with us?
yeah, so one day we said it can't be explained, it must be experienced. And so put a call out at the church and said, hey, anybody wants to come. And what's amazing is that some of the people that are right in that room are not members of the physical location in Houston. Some of them are online members and have traveled from other parts of the world. This is home for us. This is home, and we want people to take home with them, know where they come from, know the history of their ancestry. It's exciting, and listen, you're getting ready to see a lot of stuff. You're going to see things from an indigenous background. You're getting ready to see the landscape. You're getting ready to see the culture, the vibe, and the people. So watch this. It's getting ready to be amazing.
Today, as we connect ourselves to this dungeon, we are going to see how the journey of our ancestors began from the slave dungeon. One may ask, why the slave dungeon? This was the first slave dungeon, built by the Portuguese in the year 1482. So as you speak, this dungeon is 543 years old. The oldest, the biggest, the largest, and the first to come into contact with the slave trade. And the Portuguese were the first Europeans to arrive here in the year 1471 to trade and to spread Christianity as they claimed to do. These are not dungeons, they are cells. This is the European cell and this is the African cell, the condemned cell. Now one may ask, do you have European cell in a slave dungeon too? If dungeons were created for enslaved Africans to be held, why do you have a condemned cell? Before we find out, let us observe two things. One is the nature of the doors. The European cell has a metal gate, but the African cell has a wooden gate. Look above the doors. The African cell has a skull and crossbone. but the Europeans say has nothing. So one, why differences in the doors? Why differences in the symbols or the signs? To find out, let's do the comparison. Why European cell in the slave dungeon? Now this cell was created purposely for their own soldiers who misbehaved or misconducted themselves. By going to town without permission, they got drunk and they had to be disciplined to ensure control and order as far as the activities were concerned. Now since this cell was meant for their people the same color of skin, it has enough vent. One on my right, one on my left. See the gate with more vent for air to come through. How many soldiers were kept here at a time? Not more than 5. They had access to food. They had access to water. They were treated as humans. After a few hours of confinement, they were released to return to their post. Because a woman, every month she has to go through her cycle. So the stench was indeed heavy. As a result, these are water reservoirs. These reservoirs were constructed by the Portuguese. Rainwater were harvested in them. And this contains 20,000 gallons of rainwater. So once you are chosen or selected, they used buckets, drew water from which, meant for the one chosen by the governor to bathe. But one may ask, at that time, where was the bathroom for a woman to stand and take and bathe? The bathroom is the same space that we are standing right now. What an embarrassment and humiliation. What an insult. No one ever cared. After this embarrassment, she was given something small to cover herself. To look presentable and nicer, forced to walk through this door. Finally, a ship had arrived. All the women who survived in the famous slave dungeons were moved out of the dungeons, re-examined finally by the physicians. Those who were fit for the Atlantic voyage were put back in chains, connected to their fellow enslaved Africans, and this is the female passage that connected all the women into the room of no return, to begin an unknown journey, a journey that they never knew where they were going.
Just looking at the narrow door of no return, just very sad to see just how small that door is as they're trying to have the slaves go through that door. It's just very touching and just not a good sight.
If you're in America and you have not come to Ghana and you want to connect with your roots, I suggest this trip. You don't want to ever miss it, ever again. If you have the opportunity to do this and come with us, see Ghana, experience all the, I don't know, I just feel like you said, it's home. It literally feels, when you get here, they say welcome home, and you feel it immediately.
Yeah, and this is not about color, it's not about creed. This is the Genesis. This is where we believe all of humanity began, right on this continent. And when your feet touch this soil, some way, somehow, it says hi to you, and you get to say hello back. We love it here. Can't wait to get back here, and hopefully when we return, you'll be with us.
All fine and said. The point is, Europeans traveled around the world for good or bad. That is why Europeans today have an economic domination on earth because of traveling. Whatever good they did, whatever bad they did, I know they did a lot of bad things around the world, but Europeans today control the global economy, except for the Asians now, like China is rising, because Europeans traveled out of the Caucasus Mountain. Europeans traveled out of Europe. I don't want to get into what they did. We know they did a lot of bad things, but they traveled out. So traveling is a form of education that is valuable to the extent where you cannot get it in a classroom.
I always say on this channel that if really you want to, have the experience of how they feel, okay, you should try and put yourselves in their shoes, okay? Try and do that. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, I can understand all these things that they are having, here, over there. They don't get it, bro. They don't get it. I know I've never traveled to the US. No, I've never crossed the Atlantic Ocean, but bro, we are human beings, okay? We feel. Yeah, we feel. So when you try and put yourself in their shoes, you have an idea of the feelings. That's just it, guys. Everything that has a beginning also has an end. I've come to the end of my video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, Share this video to as many eyes out there. I believe they'll watch and learn from me. Before I go, I would love to give a shout out to Maximum Impact Travel. Thank you so much for putting something this beautiful, and likewise to Culture Ghana. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are doing well. Yeah, my subscribers and I are really grateful. Okay, see ya in my next video. Bye-bye.